G'day. Thanks for joining us once again for ArtStudio. My name's Wayne Clements and we're going to get straight into a painting here. And we're painting in the W oils. It's the water soluble, no messy cleanups, no solvents. So we're going to go straight around our palette here. We're using our titanium white. I've also got a bit of cerulean blue which I've tinted. I've got some yellow ochre. I've also got a bit of yellow that I've tinted here as well. Got our Evolution Violet out of the tube. That's been tinted here. A little bit of orange and some burnt umber. I've also got some Evolution Violet in here and I've mixed it with a bit of black. I'll tell you why in a second, or where we're going to use it in the painting. A little bit of blue violet here, got some greens as well. Now this is it's a phthalo light green, yellow green, and I've just darkened it with a little bit of this here, which is actually something I've mixed up with just a bit of ultramarine blue and yellow. So we're going to get straight into it. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint some rocks. Some big boulders actually, so it's a good little exercise, and as usual I've put a little bit of white on my canvas where we want it, and that's just right up the top. The rest of it is going to be a lot of dark, so we're going to get straight into it, and we're going to have a bit of a light sky up the top here, a bit of sunshine coming through, and we're going to come down and it's going to be beautiful colours in this, and the Evolution Violet is going to be really dominant in this painting. Now, people always ask me about the Evolution Violet, but it's everywhere and it's in these rocks, as you'll see as we paint the painting. So we're just going to get this bit of yellow ochre in here as well now, just as we come down into the picture. And as we do, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this Evolution Violet in here as well. So it's in the painting, beautiful colour. So what we're looking at now is the sky, well, these trees, top line of these trees heading back into the sunset. So that's the effect we're after. We're just going to pat it down very gently. We're going to try and get the effect of the tree line going back into the distance. So as we come further forward, it's going to get darker and darker. So we're just going to darken this area up first of all. We'll come back and put our little tree lines in shortly, but before we do that, we'll get this in. And we're going to come right down into some darks. We're going to pick up a bit of this, bit of burnt umber, and get into these colours right here. We can even go right over the rocks, even though we've penciled them in. I'm not worried about that. We can put them back in. So we've got those darks happening there. A little bit of burnt umber in there as well, just to mix things up. And bring that dark right over that painting. Right over the rocks. We can darken up this whole area here because we're going to use our knife to create the effect of all the light hitting these rocks, the sunlight hitting these rocks. Beautiful colour. Look at that transition there, that Evolution Violet against the yellow ochre. It's gorgeous. So as we go down into the dark, get that big brush in there. Don't worry about it. Just cover that canvas. That's all you have to do. Swirl the brush around. It doesn't matter. We won't show any of that texture on the finished product because we're going to go over this with a knife and everything. Yep. So we're just getting that brush into the canvas, pushing the paint into it. There we go. You can see it's coming up nicely here. That's the effect we're after at the moment. And it's all going to come alive with colour over that dark. Nothing like a dark background to make your colours stand out sometimes. Okay, so we're just going to pat that down a little, like we're going to get the effect of those trees going back into the distance there. And to get that, of course, we're going to have to use a much smaller brush. So we're going to go back right into the distance. We're going to use a small round. This is one of these half moon brushes that are registered now around the world, and we're just going to pat those colours down. We'll pick up a little bit of that Evolution Violet, like the tops of trees, and pat it back in there. I don't like that brush. I think it's ruined. Might have to get a new one. We'll go with this one. Same deal. Need a new brush. So we're going to go back and put the tops of these trees in here, back in the distance, and as we come further forward it'll colour change. So that's the effect we're after. Just pat those down, start picking up a little bit of dark with that now so we can colour change. We're going to put some lights over the top of this as well, and we're also going to get bigger. So in other words, we change our brush. So we move into a larger brush now. Probably this one might be the go. And we're going to pick up some darks we've got here, and we're just going to start putting those treetops in. And pick up a little bit of green while we're at it. So here we go. Just pat all those colours down. A little bit of dark, bit of green. Doesn't look much at the moment, but it will. So now as we come further forward, or before we do that, we'll put a bit of light on those tree tops back in there. With the light of it that we've mixed up here, a yellow ochre and a yellow with a bit of white in it that we've tinted, and we're just going to go over some of those colours. Some of those darks to create the effect of going back into the distance there. So we've got that light hitting the top of the trees. Just pat it down everywhere. That's the way to go. Don't be scared of it, just get it on. If you don't make a mistake, you're not learning. I know we say it all the time, but it's so true. Here we go, we're starting to get something, see? So you've got to do something to get some effect. Even if the effect isn't one you're after, you never know, you might create something you didn't plan on that looks actually fantastic. So we're going to go, same brush, we're going to go back into the distance here with just some yellows, like it's just disappearing, the treetops there. Pat them down if they stand out too much. Pick up the colour around it and just pat them down so they don't stand out as much. That's the way. Starting to look good. You can put a little bit of light on top of that, just a bit of white here and there, like that, just sunlight just glistening on there. And that's the way to go. We're going to pick up a larger brush now. We've got about a 1-inch brush and we're going to go straight into some of these colours here. And we're going to pick up some of these lights. And as we're coming further forward, we've got bigger trees, but we're also going to put a couple coming up too, just to break it up so it's not even. So we've got a nice big tall tree sticking up. Might even use a bigger brush for that now. We're going to go into the 2-inch brush because we're coming further forward and we're going into darker land. Before I do that, I'll just put a bit of colour across the ground there so we can see where the base of those trees are going to. So we'll make them on a bit of an angle down in there somewhere. That's about all we need. Okay, just pick up a bit of that same thing on the brush we got happening. Don't forget we're just using a stippling effect at the moment. And get those tree tops. We can put a bit of light on them as well as we come further forward. And not too far away we're going to start putting in a few trunks just to make it look a bit more realistic. Get the trunks up in there, it makes all the difference. So here we go. We're going to pick up this. Just before we go too much further, we're going to have a short break. Well, look, we've got the guts of the painting here, so now we can actually put a little bit of colour across the ground here, like a little bit of light, bit of orange, bit of yellow ochre. Mix it up, don't have it all the one colour. So it looks like a bit of broken ground or something back in there. And we're going to start getting these tree trunks up in there. Okay, look, we're just about ready to go to a break. We've got the basis of the painting here. We're going to come back shortly and continue on. Hope you can join us then. We'll see you.